It's the 13th of February, 2024. Let the record reflect it is 8:30 a.m. and we are in the Hill County Courtroom. Quorum Commissioners present established. Y'all keep Mr. Jim Holcomb, Precinct 1, in your prayers. He's under the weather today. And I specifically asked him not to come in when I talked to him yesterday. I'm all about sharing, but I didn't want to share whatever he had. So if y'all remember him. Miss Paula, has anybody made any arrangements to speak online before 8 o'clock this morning? Good deal. Well, in which case, at this time, this meeting has been posted in accordance with Texas Government Code 551, better known as Texas Open Meetings Act. And before any undertaking, let's first invoke the blessing of the Almighty. If you would, sir.
Father, we thank you so much for today, and I thank you for this gathering of people here that make decisions on behalf of the county. Lord, I pray for wisdom over them, that you would speak to them and that they would hear your voice and know the wise thing to do to make this county a better place for everyone in it, Lord. And I thank you so much for everything that you're doing here. I pray that everything that needs to be said is said clearly and concisely, and I just pray for your wisdom in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir. If y'all follow me in pledge the American and Texas flags. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag, pledge allegiance to Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you so much, Ben. You're welcome to stay, but you're also welcome to go.
Well, I've got everything.
I understand. Thank you, Richard. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Hill County Commissioners Court this morning. I hope everybody's having a good morning. I'm a little out of sorts, so forgive me if I'm a little slow or cranky. I don't mean to be. Kind of get around the table here. Jim again is out with a sickness he's been dealing with the last week. I don't think it's anything terminal, but he's just kind of had a relapse of it. So keep him and some of his guys in prayers. What's going on in Precinct 2 today, Commissioner?
Well, first of all, I don't go through a lot of that. I skip a bunch of it when I'm sitting over there.
I got word back when I wasn't here the other day that maybe this pile didn't get thoroughly read. So we're going to go word by word today.
Okay. Busy, between the ice, all the rain. We've had two different roads that, culverts got stopped up, undermined, some, culverts just outside of town, got those repaired, road back open. Then the last rain had 2 6-foot culverts south of my precinct blew out. So I'm waiting on the bridge builder to come look at that. But the rain over the weekend must have had more rain in some areas than others. It washed our roads pretty severe. And they were out dragging blade roads yesterday and hope to finish up what we've got today. And the other problem is that the solar systems, I know they got a job to do, but man, they're hurting us on rock base.
We can't get it.
We can't get it. And you get over there and your truck drivers is having to sit an hour and a half in line to get loaded if you can get loaded that quick. But yesterday wasn't a problem. They were probably rained out. And we got a few more loads than normal yesterday. But anyway, we're continuing on every day.
Good deal. Good deal. What's going on in Precinct 3, Commissioner Hawkins?
Same thing. The weather's just got us hurt.
Yeah.
Fighting the holes and then luckily no culvert trains that washed out. But like the Commissioner said, finding rock and no luckily the week that it rained the entire week, I got all that pit while the solar on the cornhole, and we managed to put 150 loads of rock on the road that next week out of our yard. So got out of that. Another thing is the solar dome that I'm getting put up with down in our precinct.
Yeah, and I reiterate, we have road use agreements with these people. You let me know. I'll get you in touch with Mike Dixon, and he's on the record here. We're enforcing those agreements, and that's the only protection we got against these people. We can't stop solar farm from coming here. We can't stop windmills from coming here. The only thing we can do is tie them up in a contract. And so we have those contracts. I encourage everybody to enforce them. I mean, that's our one overriding goal, protect what we have. And if you've got a problem, you let me know and I'll help you out all I can. And David will do the same.
And we are. It's just putting up with
Oh, yeah.
7 miles of construction zone,
It's a pain.
it's a pain.
And there's 2 solar systems in my precinct, it hadn't even started yet.
Yep. And I got called about another one this week. Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, all
Other
right.
than that, we just patch mud holes and blades.
All right. Well, sounds good, Commissioner. Thank you. What's going on precinct 4, Commissioner Lake?
We're trying to get the roads back to going. 2 weeks ago, we had a school bus stuck and there's a few mamas and grandmas didn't appreciate little Sally about getting to school.
I
on time.
imagine not.
And we had 2 trucks stuck and we had a funeral over at Martinez. That people got stuck going to the cemetery and so we've had a huge mess. And it's gonna take, it may be the summer when we get everything back like it was.
I will tell you, we've been asking people because I know you guys are out there working on it, but what are we seeing different? Why are the roads suddenly, and that hard freeze we got, that real hard freeze?
So everything,
Exactly right. Those packed roads got lifted up and then this slow soaking rain after has turned it into a loblolly. Even over in precinct 2 where you have, 100 miles of chip seal road, we've got how many miles of damaged chip seal road now?
Quite a bit. We tried to reseal with some oil and it worked pretty good. It tried to hold them together and then hopefully this summer I'll go back. Those are probably 5, 6 years old already. And
This-
it's done well.
It's just been the perfect combination of bad weather to make the roads go hot.
so
So
we had places, or we had several places, we hauled a bunch of oversized in and 2 days later, we couldn't find it. It's just-
these Sam Houston clays will eat rock, I've heard. Well, good deal. What's happening in the sheriff's office today?
Well, sir, Joe started to come by, so he can just on a few things, we've already, corrected several of those.
Okay.
Our rec law, for instance, we transitioned to electronic. So because we had an issue with that particular RFID system in terms of rec, we'd already previously put in a ticket because you couldn't pull out a can report that was easily vegetable.
Okay.
So we already had a ticket on that, so but we always kept paper logs for rec. For whatever reason, it worked every other year, every other inspection, he didn't accept those.
Gotcha.
And refused to look at it to from once from RFID, so. Also, we have, it's the Ansel in the kitchen that needs to be steam cleaned every 6 months by code.
Okay.
So we have that scheduled to, ironically, the guy that scheduled it, that's gonna do it. Says that he installs those at fire departments in their kitchens and stuff like that, but he's yet to ever go back and have to clean those, even though it's part of the part code. So even but the joke we should says we have to do this, so.
You gotta do it. That's it. How's everything out on the street?
Good, had some bad calls for the deputies, so the last couple of 3 days, so
Yeah.
we're setting up some critical incident debriefings for them.
Thank you for doing that for those deputies.
Which is something that we do often when we have those types of situations.
Yeah, it's no secret. I pay attention to the radio. I pay attention to the dispatch, the alerts that's going on. And then I've noticed a couple of pretty violent things the last couple of days and I just hate that part of it. But
And yesterday and the night before, that was pretty bad.
okay. What's going on, JP3?
I'm so busy.
Trying to stay busy. Come on down. We got some chores for you. We'll be good. Anything happen in the district clerk's office today?
Profits everywhere.
It seems like you've been busy too. Anything in the treasurer's office to report?
Just this.
All right, what's going on with emergency management?
Eastern family,
Says the deal.
we got good news last week, licensing on Huron Tower had been approved and signed by FCC, so the 21st is. 21st, 22nd, 23rd, we're gonna have the vendors come in, that tower should be live, so. I just called them work on every radio in the county, almost 200 of them. Has to be reprogrammed for them to see the towers.
Good deal, good deal.
We've got some brother picture on that program.
I think that's gonna be such a blessing for those up in the Blum area, especially the Blum Steel District. That nobody has a cell phone that works in all parts of Hill County. I can't find a single provider that works in every part of Hill County, yet our public safety radio system has to do that. So, but putting that tower finally live, it means that those administrators inside that Blum School District will have access to the radio system and improve their communication, God forbid something. So,
Speaking of school districts, I think, Chris told me yesterday that there was 2 school districts that have purchased 10 radios, so
Okay.
the school district's really coming on board as well,
Great.
so.
That was the point. So good
It
deal.
went faster than we thought it would.
You got a couple of grant presentations coming up here pretty soon? One
Well,
Thursday?
No, it's Thursday, we've got EPAC for grants, we're doing the voter safety, voter fraud.
That's how much is that grant value?
Huh?
How much you asking for? I know.
About $100,000.
Yeah, a little over 100,000. It's a good deal. That would replace the voter check-in system that's end of life.
And there was a little rule that was made this year with Homeland Security that last year we got kind of bit because they made a rule at the last minute where a certain amount had to go to something and nobody paid attention. So
Well, not nobody paid attention. Hill County paid attention.
we, but this time
Okay.
we were ready, we were the only voter software that will be looked at on Thursday. So, and then the series grants have closed, where we've asked, for a little over $500,000 to do the, holiday precinct 3, and that will do pretty much. We did get a phone call yesterday that will kind of scare you, if you've never had it before. Chief deputy from the comptroller's office. You know, you like, okay.
What'd you do?
That's what we asked, is this a good call or bad? They want to join our system.
Comptroller does. Okay, fair enough. Nice to have friends.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for the update,
You
Bruce.
just tell them no.
Yeah, no, usually not. They signed the contract though. Philip, what's happening in IT?
Judge, over at Sunblock Museum, we've got the camera.
Yes.
Security camera there, we've got a pole installed, the conduit's here, the cable's run. The next step is the next link to come out, we'll install their 2020 connection.
I'm sorry, those folks I didn't know if they're waiting to talk and had to go or something. Go ahead.
Anyway, ball is rolling, we've got to get next link out there to install the network, and get the camera installed and get it working.
Great.
As Tom mentioned, he and I are gonna be in Waco for the EPAC meeting, we'll probably be around all day on Thursday.
Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys swinging for the fences for us.
And yeah, there's gonna be something, AT&T contract renewal that hopefully will get us more bandwidth for less money.
I like when you bring me things like that. I really enjoy it. We're gonna double your bandwidth, but we're gonna take it $300 less a month. I'm like, yeah, you can talk me into that. That's doable. So, all right. Basically, what he's talking about is trying to, as we do more software as a service, as we do, software just gets more complicated all the time. I don't know a better way to say it. So it takes up more width. And opening this pipe up gives us a greater ability to serve citizens, but at the same time save money. So I think that's wonderful. Any other elected or appointed official got anything you want to share with us this morning? If not, I'll give you the update on a couple of things. So the chiller project is close to being complete. Chillers are reinstalled. We removed the old ones that were 20 some odd years old, replaced those with newer model chillers that are not end of life, and then installed a couple of variable speed pump drives in there. And in closing, we installed some electronically actuated valves. Two things. The goal was to replace the failing chillers, which we were pouring tons of money into, and B, try to save some electricity by operating them differently. I predict that we are going to see a significant savings in our electrical bill this next year, just from the simple things we've done. However, with every cloud, there is some rain, and at this deal, we have found a couple of issues. We went up to the very top of the courthouse where I say very top, 4th floor, to bleed the air from the system. And when they took the insulation off the pipe, they found some corroded pipe up there. So I've got them fixing that, but then again, going back and giving us a change order, a proposal for the commissioners to go through and find those. The last thing I want is another rainstorm inside of the courthouse. So if we're in the middle of this project, we already got this far. I want to go ahead and look at the rest of it upstairs. And if there's rotted or corroded pipes, this is the time to replace it now. Just bite it, get it over with and done. Because if we let that stuff fail or something happens, we don't find it, you're talking about serious money. So that's going along. Covington has been the bane of my existence for some time. It continues to drag along. Last week, the parts finally came in for the locks, and that's moving forward. A lot of folks are moving into their offices down there. We've got a few ticky-tacky items to deal with. We found some water on the floor 2 Mondays ago. I say we, Chrissy found it 2 Mondays ago. It's condensation issue. So they're dealing with that. They didn't anticipate how some things would interact. On AgriLife, I'm still talking to engineers. It's been difficult to find an engineer to do what we want to do, but I will give you guys an update on that. Hopefully later in the week, I'll be able to give you a more firm answer. Other construction going along, obviously, we've got the invoice finally. You'll see it here for the parking lot across the street. It came in about half of what we thought it'd come in at. So I'm particularly pleased with that. That being said, this time of year, we are going out for bids. So next Commissioners Court, if you have something you think that needs to go out for one of our annual bids, please let us know, because we'll have that on the agenda for the next court, and we will be going out for bids. Those bids are effective as of April 1st. Actually, that might address one of the issues on our agenda today. Last but not least, I'm going to read some correspondence. I know it's not often that the court gets correspondence, but when we do, especially when it's not complaining about anything, I'm joking, I'd read those too. This is from the Hill County Historical Commission. It's dated the first day of February 2023, and it says, Honorable Judge Lewis and Commissioners, the Historical Commission of Hill County wants to thank you all sincerely for making a new office for the Hill County Historical Commission. I think our local commission will be, for better, able to discharge the duties set forth of every county in Texas and have a county historical commission per local government code chapter 318 that is elected to do so, and that has Hill County. As has Hill County, forgive me. It's cursive is, I just need to upgrade my reading. We are grateful for your encouragement and support. Respectfully, Bob McGregor, Chairman. So the Historical Commission, if you hadn't been over there, has moved into their offices. You know that by law we're their financial agent, and they've got things moving along. So anyway, that's a long report for us at this point. So at this time, we're going to open the floor to open forum. If there's anybody here to speak about anything, either on the agenda or not, this is your opportunity to do so. If you would, limit your comments to about 3 to 5 minutes in duration. And as we respect you, please show respect to the court. Come on forward. We know and love you, but you got to say your name for the record.
Alvin Caddix, and we're out here in precinct 4, just north of town. And we just want to thank the court for letting us sell y'all's surplus property, the IT department and the commissioners and all that y'all do. And we got Travis and I had the opportunity. He does most of the work for the county show. I want you to know I did show up and got help a little bit.
You both do a lot, but we appreciate you both for doing that.
And but last night I was talking to Max Stanley. I think he may be over in precinct 4. He's just east of town. Anyway, Max, he's a Vietnam vet, 76 years old. Parts were in, broke his neck in 3 places before Christmas, and he was at the auction to support the kids. And so we appreciate all y'all supporting the kids too. And Mac, when I talked to Mac last night, he's thanking us for what we did. So here's a man that served his country, and he's interested in making us feel good for what we're doing. So
Seems like
we appreciate that. But just want to share with you, we're selling the commissioners, parts for their equipment. We've got a parts locator for new and used parts, no matter whether it's ag or construction. So we've got all that available. We've got that system that goes out all over the nation to check on parts. If it's something that's hard to find, new or used, we can get those for you, and we appreciate that. We're bringing a lot of business into Hill County through our auctions and our equipment and our parts. And as Mr. Blake was saying, roads are a big deal. We got to get our customers in and out to our property, so to our business, and so we appreciate y'all doing what you do on that. We're also bringing a lot of TCEQ turf tractors in. If you don't know what that, if you're not familiar with that, it's a state program. You're only qualified if you're in certain counties. We're not in the county. Y'all could be using some of y'all's older equipment out here on the county commissioners using and buy a new piece of equipment. The state gives you a large amount of money. So our grandson Carson's picking up a couple of tractors down in the Houston area today. So we've got tractors coming in from all over the state. Okay. You cut and whether it's construction or farm equipment, you cut a hole in the block on each side, cut the frame. For a $20,000 tractor, the state gives the farmer $100,000. He's got to come up with the money to buy a new tractor for the difference. And one guy on the combine had to come up with 50 grand. So all he had to come up with get a new combine. But we're working along those lines, so we've got a lot of that coming in too. Okay. And got all that going on. And I just like to encourage the court and to do whatever we can to support Hill County businesses and because we're supporting y'all and we sure appreciate all of them. I just want Travis to share just a minute on some of the things on the online.
Come on.
So.
Yeah, I get your, I guess it's a text message and an email about, I don't know, once or I don't want to say once a week. That's too often, but a couple of times a month. I see one. I got one yesterday, I think, a proxy bid. Does that sound right?
Right,
Okay,
right.
go ahead, Mr. Griffin.
I'm Travis Caddis. And I just wanted to kind of, support the claims that he's making. We appreciate the items that y'all sold with us in the past, and we hope that you're satisfied with the results. And I want to back it up with numbers. You're talking about the emails and the text messages. We send out over 15,000 emails each time we do an auction, over 22,000 text messages to cell phones. We found a better response in the cell phone. As far as the website and platforms that we use, we get we have a lot better audience base than the your traditional government surplus auction companies.
Okay.
Because we're reaching the general public and not just those types of things. So I appreciate you doing business locally. But I also want to say that don't just do business locally, because we're local business. We're competitive. We do good business. We get good results. And I just hope that you guys see that. And we're excuse me, full service auction company. We'll come out and take the pictures, do the whole deal, and take that off our hands. And something else I was going to say, but I forget what it was. But yeah, just because we're from Yale County doesn't mean we're not competitive.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for being with us this morning. Appreciate
Thank you.
you.
Appreciate y'all.
You have a good day.
All right.
Anybody else for open forum this morning? Anybody that's got anything they need to speak with us about, or tell us about, or even complain about? We're okay with that too. If we don't know about the complaints, we can't do anything about them. I'm gonna go once. I'm gonna go twice.
Going.
I'm just gonna let him run the meeting and sit over there. I think that we get a lot more accomplished that way. All right. So in which case, then at this time, if there's no presentations, we're gonna move on into our consent agenda. We have action on minutes, action on invoices, payroll, monthly report, revenue disbursement, and observe report elected officials trainings. Gentlemen, you've received several emails in the last couple of days from the treasurer's office, and you've had an opportunity to review those bills. Or the accounts payables, I should say. Is there any questions on any of that? If not, I'll
Make a
entertain.
motion approved.
I guess I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as approved. There's anything that we're going to take off for discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, any abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. I'm going to start passing the accounts payable around. I know they come in several packets. I'm not going to lie to you. It doesn't upset me because it makes it easier, my attention span, to go through one at a time. And then there's the payroll. I'll put that on top for you too. I'm glad I'm the only person that has to have the printed out copies. We kill trees here. Last of them. All right. Okay, moving along, we have our court orders today, and number one is, oh, yes, ma'am, it's all means. I won't forget that. I'll get told about it, I'm sure. All right, employee wage status changes, ladies and gents. We have employee wage status changes for this 13th day of February 2024. First, we'll do our new hires. We have Gloria Riviera, forgive me, in the district judge's office. She's going to go up there as assistant court coordinator. Everybody knows Miss Ida Alcala got her certification as a court reporter, and she's moved on. We thank Mrs. Alcala for many years as a court assistant and a translator, and we're going to miss her. And we hope that Mrs. Rivera understands she's got big shoes to fill. So Jeff Boyd in the sheriff's office is coming along, and we're glad to see that. We have some people that have moved on. Jordan Bass in the sheriff's office. We have Jeffrey Boyd in the sheriff's office. Hold on. It was short-lived. Okay, it was. I got you. So short-lived. Understood. I read that a minute ago. Mr. Gary Melson has moved on. Mrs. Ida Alcala will discuss. Wish her the best. And we have some wage status changes at this time. We have Veronica Trejo in the district clerk's office. We have Teresa Korb in the auditor's office. And this is, I want to point this out. The district clerk is not a meritorious raise. It's actually taken a position because we had another individual retire. So there's an open spot there, I believe. That's my understanding. If I'm wrong, tell me. Okay, cool. I think she'll do a great job. So Teresa Korb at the auditor's office, you guys, we have some folks coming on there. And behind that, you'll see we're not giving the auditor another set of raise. That's not what's going on here. You guys know that the auditor, assistant auditor's pay is set by the district court. The paperwork wasn't quite right, so I'm bringing it back through now that Judge Harris has issued the orders to observe and record to make sure that our paperwork is right. Because somebody's going to go looking one day and go, what do these guys do? So we're not giving additional raises over what you heard. Judge Harris sets those pays within a scale, and he's within that scale. So all we're doing is we're going to wind up observing and recording that. But those are the wage and status changes for this date.
Second.
Motion is second to approve. Is there any discussion? I can't get y'all to talk, I swear. All right, so all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, any abstention, motion carried. We have discussion and approved bonds. We got Mr. Charles Jones, Hill County JP, Justice of Peace Precinct 4. And he has his bond up. Mr. John C. Miller, Constable Precinct 1, has his bond as well today. There we go. And further, we have Miss Angela Buck over at our juvenile probation office. We further have, there we go, Mr. Marlon Pettis at juvenile probation as well. And those are the bonds for the state.
Make a motion approved.
I have a motion and a second to approve the aforementioned bonds for February 13th, 2024. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Number 3, discussion and approve request for proposal for Hill County Support Services Building Roof and Repair Replacement. Okay, here's what we got. 4 bids. We've made those electronic. We opened them previously. We made them electronic. We've sent them out to everybody for review. You have basically the low bid was LD Tebben at $250,000. The next one was Crawford Roofing Inc. $251,525. The next lowest bid was Next Gen Construction, $259,000, and then the high bid was Tri-Land Roofing and Waterproofing at $274,400. All of these is to go back with the same type of roof that is currently on that building, which was we'll say bitness. That's not the right term, but an asphalt style roof. The difference in those bids, well, at least the lower 3 come down to the distance from the job site. So LD Tebben is a company that is in Waco, and what I'm asking you guys to do is to name it as the apparent winner of the bid so that I can, with the county attorney, enter into a contract with them, or at least contract negotiations with them, because I'm not going to just go off a bid for a $250,000 roof. So my request is that you guys would approve LD Tebben as the apparent bid winner, and that would allow myself and the county attorney to enter negotiations for a contract for that roof. Because the work order is good, but frankly, I'm to the point that with all this construction going on, I'm tired of living at the mercy of other people's schedules. If we're going to put a schedule out, we need to keep it, and there needs to be either, disincentives, I should say, to be nice, if they don't make it.
This is scope where they're gonna rip their roof off. Oh, Lord.
Yep. So that roof up there, if you crawl up there, it's interesting. It's been on there, I don't know, as long as I've been around, probably a lot longer than that.
Leaving on all of it.
Yeah, the biggest issue with it is there's parts of the roof, so it's got a metal deck underneath it, but on top of that metal deck is a gypsum board, I understand, because we've core sampled it and looked at it, been up there. And in places, it's sunk. So whereas the water used to go off the roof, there's places where that's sunk. It's not penetrating, but the water pools there, and ultimately it's going through it. So the scope of work on this is pretty intensive, and we worked with some outside parties to get to this. We're going to take out all those excess vents, gone. They're going to remove all of that. Around the doghouse, as we so lovely call it, they have a conservatorium is what they're calling it, which is a nicer word. They're going to redo all of that. And they're going to redo the wood underneath it, reflash it, put in some custom flashing on it. That way there's no leaks there ever. Correct. It's a problem. So yeah, it's going to be part of the construction contract that I want to enter into is talking about the value of the stuff in that building. And that's the reason I think the timeline is so important. We can't have willy-nilly, hey, we're going to come out and do this and then take off on the job. We have our records in there. So we've got to do something about that roof. We can't just let it keep going. We've gone out for bid. We got 4 bids. We've reviewed the bids. Now it's time to take action on it. It causes me concern. I'm not going to lie to you. Either doing something or doing nothing. Both things are dangerous. And I would rather lean towards doing something to correct the problem with appropriate oversight than sit here and do nothing.
At least it doesn't stare at water.
Yeah, I'm tired of coming in on Monday mornings and seeing that. It just, and I get it. Our people are doing the best they can with roofing tar, but roofing tar only goes so far when the roof is bad. So to my understanding, that roof's been on there since '99. I don't have records on it. I was told that, but so. What's your thoughts?
Like a motion.
So,
Okay, so there's a motion and a second to allow the county judge to enter a negotiation with the apparent lowest and best bid. That would be
Offered.
LB Tevin, is the lowest
I
and
mean,
best.
okay, 250, okay.
Yeah, 250. The lowest and best bid being LB Tevin out of Waco, Texas, and that's the motion. I will get with you once I contact them and notify them to get a sample contract back and forth.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second to that. Is there any further discussion on it? Ain't nobody gonna ask how we're gonna pay for this?
You're bringing back the
Contract, yes, sir. We'll have to bring the contract back to the court for final approval before we do it. So this is just another step in a process.
The money will come out of the general fund,
We're gonna take it out of precinct two.
but no.
Okay. Guys, we've got, what's that?
Insurance?
In jury fund, you said? Sure. No, we've already talked to the insurance company and they politely declined. So you guys knew we're coming up, we put $1 million in 1103-4101 last year. That's a capital outlay on the non-departmental. We knew this project was coming. We've known it was coming for some time. And so we put that there to deal with it. You got to remember, Covington Street gets paid out of a wholly separate fund. So it's not part of that. That money was set aside last year because we knew we were going to have problems with this roof. And frankly, I know this is very expensive, but I thought it was going to be worse than this. I really did. I thought this would be $350,000 to $400,000. Well, just the square footage cost, talking to other people. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. So, we have the money in that 1103-4101 we set aside last budget time, and a majority of it's still sitting there. So that's where we're going to pay for it from. The other questions, you're just talking to groups today. I love that.
We're used to him last meeting, see, we were already.
I told him,
Wait, hold on now.
no, see, I told him to pack a sack lunch today. You get spoiled with him. I can't be out of here. All right.
We're
Well,
not allowed to talk, he's sitting there.
oh,
We had a lot of people here that day too.
yeah, okay. Well, that might explain the conversation I had in the front office a minute ago. Okay. All right. Which case then, if there's no further discussion, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, any abstentions, motion carries. All right. This is going to be number 4, discuss and approve request for proposal, Hill County Historic Cell Block Museum Building Foundation Repairs. There were 2 bids. One is the Due West Foundation at $166,766.60. And number 2 was Olshan at $72,768. I'm going to do something. I'm going to tell you this, at Due Best, the higher bid is a far superior bid to the Olshan. The Olshan, so a couple of things. Let's talk about this building. We're seeing movement on the south side at the door. And, being a layman, not knowing anything about it, I thought the building was sinking. Not the case. The building is heaving. That's the high point. And so what's sinking is the front end of the building. So they have inside this bid, and I'm going to pass it around real quick, not to slow this process down, but to just show you what there's a huge difference between these 2 bids. One is going through and cutting holes in the floor of said office or a building. The other one is tunneling under the building. And that's the difference in the bid. Forgive me, I've shuffled the deck once again on myself. Okay.
Old Shams is well known, but heard different stories about getting him to come back and redo some of the problems. They find all sorts of excuses not to.
I'm going to say that they've not had the best references when I started calling around. I'm not being ugly, not trying to be nasty,
No.
just trying to be accurate. And I'm saying they haven't had the best of references. So, sorry, I scrambled this whole deck. I'm trying to show you what their peer system looks like, what they're talking about doing. Yeah, so I'm going to take this apart one more time and flip it around. I got this so out of order that I'll never get right again. So here's what they're talking about. They're staggering some piers on the outside beams, and you can see if my fingers work here, kind of what they're talking about. They're talking about a set of piers around that area. That negative is how far out that stuff is versus how high it is. They went in there and shot the whole building. And you can see that those are their notes for it. And they take some pictures underneath and around, flip through that. That's Olshan's bid. Now look at this. This is Due West Construction. I'll pass one copy over to you guys. Start looking at what they're talking about doing. Compared to what Olshan did, that's kindergarten compared to this. So what they're saying is the entire residence, which has concrete beams under it, that they're going to have to go into the middle of the residence and help bring it back up. Understanding that in the northwest corner of the residence, at some time, somebody poured a truckload of concrete underground. So that's a chore. But they've got a plan where they come in and they set these piers, and then they're going to pick this building up the best they can. Now, remember, well, you guys went with us in 09. In 09, when we did this, you can only pick that building up so far. We're not going to pick it back up to perfect. It's not a possibility. Matter of fact, it's dangerous to try that. We're going to stop the settling. It's probably going to get picked up a little bit, and then we're going to have to go back working with the historical commission, working with the museum board, not the store commission, on getting a brick mason out there and resealing. That's the process we went through in 09 when we did the backside, the jail part. But we're talking about a number of piers that are going to go out on these piles around the perimeter. They're going to go around the cell. They're going to go underneath the main building. And we're talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, about 30 piers under the residence that are going to be in. And instead of penetrating the floor in the residence, the biggest part of this bid is them tunneling underneath it so that they don't damage the building to do it. I know that this is significantly more expensive than Olshan, but we don't go on the lowest bid. We go on the lowest and best bid. And gentlemen, I believe that Due West is the best bid in this case. I know this has not been uniform in the past. I know it's not been unanimous. I do believe that we have a duty to protect certain history here in Hill County. One of those being this particular building. I think it tells a story about our history that we need to tell future generations. It's going to be expensive to fix it. It's going to be $166,780.
A lot of times when they re-level the building and reset it, that they have the plumbing problems. Is there in their bid to fix the?
There's no water in there,
No, it's not in water in there?
no plumbing.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, solve that problem.
Solve that.
The two things that I see that will happen, you fix that, the bricks obviously have to be dealt with. And then there will be some minor roofing. The roof on it's quite frankly in very good condition. It's a standing seam roof. It's just where the roof meets the wall, things have fallen out some, not badly yet. That's where the repairs will have to be made. So it'll be, I don't want to call it roofing, more like flashing along the edge of the roof where they do the brickwork. Most of the brickwork is going to happen right on the south side of the building. Now, that being said, they go to pick up that front. They're probably going to crack the plaster in there, Judge. I'm not going to say they're not going to. That's just the nature of things. But they bring the most comprehensive bid that I have of the two. We solicited this to a lot of people. You guys remember I came back and got on a nationwide website soliciting these bids. There's just not a lot of people out there that do this kind of work. So these are the two choices. I've gone through them thoroughly. I do not lightly come in here and ask you for $178,000 to fix a 140-year-old building, 130-year-old building. But I think it's the best course of action in my mind.
To preserve and save it.
Yes, sir.
You got anything to say on the bottom?
Thank you.
I didn't mean it.
Did you get it?
Thank y'all for the good consideration of this.
You have to give me 30 minutes.
I told you,
You just speak for me.
I'm leaving Crumpton in charge from this point forward. It's easier. Get us in less trouble, I'm sure. So that's the ask, that is the request, and that is my motion that we approve the bid from Due West. You have a motion and a second? Thank you. I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Where's this one? Same line item that we planned for, 1103-4101. It's 105, 1103-4101. It's the capital outlay project line item in our non-departmental. Again, these are things we anticipated. I did not anticipate this would cost anywhere near this. I was under on the roof and over. Yeah,
You made it work.
we're gonna even average out. Yeah, but in general, I'm not really. I'm not the best construction manager. Let's just say that.
Bob can't donate his check to it.
You can happily do that. You know what? We'll take that.
When he gets paid for it.
But so that's what I'm going to do is ask to enter in the same as I did before, enter into contract negotiations with the assistance of the county attorney with Due West Construction. So my motion is to make them the lowest and best, forgive me, the best bid is our standard, and to allow the county judge and the county attorney to enter into contract negotiations. We'll come back before this court with final contract. the reason for that, again, specific some money, but we're also going to have to work with the museum board. If there's any, they won't need to be inside the building much, but we're still going to have to put a schedule together so everybody understands what's going to happen at what time. Okay. That's my motion. That's the second. All in favor, say aye.
Yeah.
Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Hopefully, this will be the last time I work on this foundation. Hopefully. But thank you all. All right, moving right along, we're going to find ourselves in item number 5, and that is discuss and approve a Xerox copy of proposed lease agreement for the auxiliary courtroom in Covington Street. I'd like to thank the district clerk for heading that up. If you guys haven't seen that new courtroom, I personally, I think it's the best courtroom. These are beautiful courtrooms, but the problem with this courtroom, the district court, you all know, it's hard to hear. This is form over function. That would be a great place as an attorney to try a case. You can hear a pin drop in that courtroom. It's wonderful. But things that we need a copier over there. So the annual lease quote, the copier will be $1,908.84. That's the annual. It's not a monthly. And it'll be expended from district clerk's budget line. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. Of $2,105. Come on
Jury
up.
trial over there. End of maybe.
What's that now?
It's a termination case. And
Oh, there is.
Judge Craig has to have a preliminary. So.
Oh, he's going to get inaugurated. I'm now jealous, but okay.
Well, sound is the other consideration. Phil's working on that.
So we got a bid on that and we're looking at other options. Did you see the bid? I mean, if we have to, we have to, but we're trying to see if there's other options. $40,000 seems a bit excessive for that courtroom. We both are at the same place, so all of us are in the same place. We're trying to explore other options. And what can we do to lower that? We've already gone back and made a few adjustments to that bid, and it was like minimal amount of money that came down. So trying to find something else. But thank you. All right.
For 22nd of March. And we'll do it with or without sound. So.
Well, worst case scenario, remember that sound system you bought a couple of years ago with the microphones? We'll set that up in there too.
They're recording, so you know, it just passes the passes.
We will figure out something before March 22nd.
Well, and the other consideration will be that next week if we do it over there.
Well, yeah, knowing that he's got the possibility of jury trial now, puts a little more onus on us. I know the good judge of the 4D master said that he wasn't too worried about it up front, but knowing that there's a possibility of jury trial.
No, this is a huge upgrade.
Oh, we can have this conversation without me cupping my ear in that room. So, all right, well, back to the item at hand, and that is the proposed lease agreement of the auxiliary courtroom at Covington Street Annex. Is there a motion to approve? Motion and a second to approve aforementioned agreement. Any discussion, questions, deliberations? All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, any abstentions? Motion shall carry unanimously. Okay, that's signed. I'm going to tender that to you. There you go. Number 6 is observe and record the annual salary for the assistant county auditors. That's actually, I've already put, here it is. Again, the cart got put before the horse, and Judge Harris provided us these orders. So again, they're not getting a second raise. It's simply cleaning up the paperwork from last time. So that's for Ms. Chandra Burns, Ms. Patricia Flores, and Ms. Teresa Corbin, the auditor's office. I'll make a motion to observe and record.
Thanks.
Motion and a second. Any abstentions? Everybody in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Number 7, observe and record Hill County CPS Board Treasurer's Report. Once again, our fine folks at the County Child Welfare Board for Hill County, I think we call it CPS Board, have sent us in their monthly report, and we greatly appreciate them following through with that. You see that, again, they're in good financial shape. And there's never such thing as great when you need to help children, but you're in good financial shape. They have some reserves and public donations. We're down just a little bit for last month, total of $735. We had clothing allowance of $300. So our net income for the month was $384.14. So I can't fundraise for anybody as a prohibition of being a judge, but if anybody's ever looking for something good to give to, I'm sure somebody could point you in this direction. All right, I'll make a motion to observe and record.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. Number 8 is discussion action on interlocal cooperation contract for failure to appear program. She left on us. So guys, when we have Class C misdemeanors and people fail to appear, we don't issue warrants to go get those folks. We're actually, if we did, DPS would just ignore it. And partially because the cost of sending somebody way outweighs what the fine is for the warrant. So what we do is we use a system whereby if you just ignore us, if you ignore the JP, you appeal it up to my court, and you ignore me, fine. We're going to put you in what we refer to as the Omni system. And what that is when you go to renew your driver's license, you'll pay your fee or you don't get your driver's license. So we're going to get up with you sooner or later, one way or the other. However, to be part of that system requires us ever so often to enter into an interlocal cooperation contract with a failure to appear program. It's a standard contract. It's been revised for this year. It's a where you write your county's name in kind of contract between the Texas Department of Public Safety and Hill County. And it talks about the background and purpose of this. And that purpose is contract applies to each failure to appear report submitted by the court to DPS and or its vendor and accepted by DPS or its vendor. So again, that's how we're going to catch up with these scofflaws that people just ignore us in Class C misdemeanors. And again, it doesn't hold itself in the language, but I don't think you use this for anything but a C, would you? I said it does not. The interlocal agreement does not hold itself to a Class C misdemeanor FTA in the language of this interlocal agreement. But I don't think you'd use this for a FTA on a B or an A misdemeanor. Yeah. So anyway, it talks about the accounting procedures, quarterly report, how we're going to allocate the reimbursement fee that we'll receive at some point in the future, how the payments to vendors work. So I would recommend that we approve this. It's a useful tool, not only for my court, but also the lower courts in order to finally catch up with people that have been paying their tickets. Motion and a second. Any further discussion? I will fill this out and get it to you. I promise. Well, I promise. I think I promised. All right. In which case I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed. Any abstentions? Motion carries. That moves on to number 9, which is discuss and approve monthly bank balances for January of 24. For our bank balances of January of 2024, we have a total, and this is across Citizen State, Wells Fargo, all accounts in Tex Class of $5,632,930.86. We brought in a total of $1,461,652.71, leaving us with a closing bank balance for the January 24 date of $7,094,583.53. Any questions about that?
Make a motion approved.
Okay, motion is second to approve the bank balance report for the month ending July 31st, 2024. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. This is one of those neat ones you get to sign twice. So, all right, number 10, discuss and approve hotel lodging for Hill County employees and officials not to exceed $214 a night. So working with our treasurer, and I'll let you get up here and explain this. We didn't just pull 214 a night out of thin air. We previously had to come to you about Tom. Anybody that holds somebody else too. There's certain places in Texas you can't get a hotel at the government rate, and San Antonio is one of the worst. Unfortunately, there are some trainings that are only offered in those venues. So we're trying to, as we talked about previously, update our per diem and update our hotel cost. Found something interesting. You want to tell them about this? No, come on. Don't be shy. The state of Texas has a couple of rates, it turns out.
So while I was doing research on our per diems and our hotel rates, the state of Texas differentiates employees and key officials. I have not got a return phone call from the comptroller yet on what the deciding factor is, what they consider key officials and employees.
I think myself and Rachel are both of the opinion, and we think you guys will be too, that we're not the governor, so we're not key officials. And I'm presuming that's what it means, but I have never heard that terminology before Rachel found it and brought it to me.
So if you're a key official, your hotel rent is $214 a night. If you're just an employee, you only get $107 a night. I don't know about y'all, but you can't rent a hotel room for $107 a night.
Yeah, I
Barely.
yeah. So, normally
I'm staying at one.
Oh, no.
what kind of hotel are you staying in?
Hampton,
For $107?
Do they give you an extra chair to put under the doorknob?
it was 102 a night.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay. Good deal.
I'm gonna cancel it, and get me a $500 room.
You're welcome to and pay the difference. So what we have is 3 different orders in front of us,
No,
guys.
no, this one's for the hotel, I just did the 214.
Just the 214, okay, so
Just the
214,
214.
all right. So that's the question. We expect all office holders, all appointed officials to use their best discretion with their budget. And I can't point to an example of somebody not using their best discretion. At the same time, either we do something about raising the hotel rate, or we continue to have people come in here one at a time in front of us and ask exceptions to the policies because the cost of things have gotten too stinking high. We use the state of Texas as a guide. Years ago, we adopted their mileage. So anytime they change their mileage, it's what our mileage goes to. We'll run something through the court to observe and record that. I don't think we probably need to adopt something on their hotel policy too. You know, they have a government rate, state rate. I didn't realize it was 2 different ones, but I appreciate you finding that and bringing it to our attention. But if we set it at the 107, that doesn't solve our problem. Matter of fact, it makes it worse.
Makes it worse. 'Cause
Yeah.
right now, 6.
196 right now.
Got a shot.
So, I don't know where that 107 came from. That's wild. I'd like to know what hotel chain they've got that deal with. And, yeah,
No, it's Hawthorne staying at.
Hawthorne.
Hawthorne,
Is that one of those by the hour kind of places?
it's by Marriott.
By Marriott. Yeah.
It's got a Poland little one.
I'm sorry, my back hurts. Not being a little frank this morning. Huh? Go ahead. I already had apologized to the guy in front office. It's an expense increase per night, approximately $18. No, we're 90, yeah, $18. We didn't budget for it. That being said, is $18, $20, $40 going to bust anybody's budget? I don't think so. I know that not everybody pays $196 a night on their travel expenses. That being said, again, next budget time, which ain't that far away, we're going to have to make sure that we incorporate this in our budget if we adopt this policy. And I think that we need to adopt the policy because we're seeing more and more people come back to us. If they're paying for the differential out of their hotel, they're not staying in the bridal suite. They're not, and just trying to get hotel rooms in certain places is just downright expensive.
And sometimes officials are having to stay offsite and travel back and forth.
Mhm.
So which would pay them more mileage because they're having to travel.
I haven't been wise to this because, I figured out how to get the state to pay for all my training several years ago. About 8 years ago, I got put on that county judge's education committee at the state level. So they pay for my hotels, they pay for my travel, they pay for my reimbursement. The only thing you guys have paid for in my office in the last 8 years has been my staff to go, which that's good. So I wasn't keeping up with exactly how expensive this had gotten, but I did call in and look at what the last stuff at TAC was. And yeah, it was a little over $200. So.
If you were to go to Austin, it'd be, you probably couldn't even find one for $115 a night.
No, not while.
Now, and if you start looking at the federal level, the GESA, they do it by geographical location.
They
So
means
there's-
tested.
So there's not just a set rate, it's by each zip code.
We talked about that, but I'm afraid it puts too much onus on our administrative staff to go, okay, what zip code we're in, I would rather not see us do that if we could help it.
How many of the various associations reimburse for this partial? Like mine does.
Oh, does it? Good deal. The commissioners don't get reimbursement on hotels. He doesn't get reimbursement for the floodplain. What about the TDM conference? Okay, you got to pay for TDM out of pocket as well. At least TDM moved it out of San Antonio to Fort Worth, which is one of the cheapest places to stay.
Myself and the auditor get reimbursed for one out of the 4.
One a year. I know the probate clerk gets reimbursed now. Well, actually, that's not true because I'm on the committee. Normally it's set up where you get the judge and one clerk reimbursed. But since I'm on the education committee, they don't have to reimburse me. So I get 2 clerks paid for instead. But that's just for one a year. And that might not include a legislative update. So everybody gets a little bit of something reimbursed, I think, with the exception of Tom and the commissioners. So thoughts?
I'll make a motion.
Okay. I have a motion to second to approve a hotel lodging for Hill County employees officials not to exceed $214 a night. Thanks, Joe Biden. Any other discussion on this? If not, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Okay, I'm gonna pass that around. And while you're up there, let's move on to discussion approved per diem and travel for travel and meals. You have the floor, ma'am.
Sure. So currently, our policy is we reimburse for the first and last day of travel is 75%, and then the full day of travel is paid at a little higher rate. Right now, if your conference provides you with a meal or your hotel provides you with breakfast, we are still paying you for those meals, so it's kind of like double dipping. We're paying you for something that's already provided.
Yeah.
So I'm asking that we change our policy that on your agenda in your hotel stay, if you're provided those meals, we will deduct those out of our rates. And then I do believe we need to look at increasing our per diems as everything is increasing right now.
And again, today's per diem as of today, what is it?
$35.50 for the first and last day and
Gotcha.
whatever the other math is for the other one. It's 50 something.
It's in low 50s.
Low 50s.
So what are you looking at? I mean, what are we basing our look at?
Sure, so back to our state level, employees versus key officials. So if you are an employee, your meals aren't to exceed $36 a day. If you are a key official, not to exceed $72 a day. So there's a big difference there. Then if you move on to the federal level, they do the same thing first and last at 75%. And then they have the tiers $59 through $79 for the whole day. And then they break out the breakfast, lunch and dinner rates.
Okay, so it's how much for the whole day?
Anywhere from $59 to $79.
Okay.
So I presented y'all with 3 proposals in front. The first one is the $72 rate per day. The next one is the 74, and then I have a blank one in case neither of those work for our court.
Okay.
And with that, I think we'll see some significant savings because right now we are paying all of those bills that someone is being provided.
Okay.
So I think even if we increase it to the higher of the 74, we will still see a decrease in your budget.
Commissioners' thoughts?
How are you breaking it up? Breakfast.
So like breakfast is on the $74 a day rate, if breakfast is 18, lunch is 20, and dinner is 36. And so if your hotel, what they provide, we would deduct that off of the $72 rate.
Oh, I mean, even with TAC, we get reimbursed for the meals from them, but I don't eat at the hotel. You can't afford to. It's just too
You
expensive.
know, one of the commissioners' conferences, they pretty well feed you all day long. They're, biscuits or burritos in the morning and a sandwich sometimes at day, lunch.
So what are you guys seeing? I mean, unfortunately, your conferences are the ones that get beat up the worst in these things.
I know a couple of opportunity things, I think there's one meal for the awards banquet. That's the only meal they're to teach and they don't provide anything.
We got you. Okay.
I mean, it's done a good job of trying to get their cost down. But, I mean, they did a good thing by moving it, but what they also did by moving it is making it less convenient. Because in Fort Worth, you have to get in the car in, drive somewhere.
I could sleep in my own bed.
So Tom, for your latest conference that you just went to, how much did you spend per day on meals that were not provided to you?
Which one?
Your last one that you went to?
Did that for me.
No, but
No,
how
no,
much
no,
did
no,
you
but how much
spend?
you spend on
Did you
meals?
spend on meals?
I mean, I'm just basing it on bill, I mean, it's gonna be $15, $20 now. Plus the bill's gonna cost you 15, and I'm just a temper,
We can't tip the county money. I just want to clarify that you did, you can't tip the county money. I need to ask Sheriff's Office, what are you guys seeing, Scott? Because you're, a huge part of this.
Well, we stopped sending people to the conference. I need to, after it happened because of
The expense.
expense and what we were training budget. So we really haven't sent anybody to a conference yet. We'll go to a TCO conference later. And then there's a sex offender registration when we opted out this time. They usually have it down in Galveston or so I can't speak to that judge since we
Okay.
set somebody here.
Circle back to the last question. Do you guys get any kind of reimbursement? Does the sheriff get any reimbursement from the association? Do you know?
No, they do generally have to boost rates for us. The conferences are such that they're so massive
Uh-huh.
that we usually end up overflow hotels. that are
Okay.
less.
Appreciate it. Judge, I know you guys got a ton of help you got to pick up, especially that first year. What are you guys seeing?
They reimburse us generally.
Okay, so the district judges are getting reimbursed generally.
District judges, and
their general taxes in, so that's a pretty nice bonus for us to be able to.
Oh.
do
Okay.
And the county court of law, because they have to pay the taxes, which I never did understand. But, that's the way
It's good to know. Thank you. Hey, Jeff Skilling, what's that? What are you guys saying in JP's?
Texas State University, and our hotels are $55 a night. So we're pretty blessed at
Okay.
that point. And then at conference, usually they'll provide you breakfast and lunch. So you're only on your own really for one meal a day. Of course, travel half a day, you know, you're gonna have your regular, whatever you do. And then coming home, you're gonna have your lunch on your own, but I think we're probably get offered the cheapest rates on everything. with our
Sounds good.
rate agreements. So with you as an example, if you're putting a year for dinner with us currently right now for that one meal, we're paying for all of the meals for that day.
Yeah.
So I just want the court to understand that we're not.
No, totally understand. It's just, where do we set the number at for those people that are getting nothing? Because I want to make sure that we're covering it, but we're not being excessive. At the same time, I totally understand your point is, hey, if we're paying you X number of dollars and you're already getting these meals point, we shouldn't be double dipping. April, your conference, what was do you remember the last?
It's usually similar to Jan's, where we get breakfast and lunch is provided, and we're on our own for dinner.
Okay, and where did they hold the last one out of curiosity?
Corpus Christi.
Okay, so slightly higher rating hotels because of the destination. All right.
I agree with, a lot of times they'll provide breakfast, a lot of times lunch, or maybe they'll get somebody to group to provide the lunch.
Yes, sir.
So that's not charged, but those meals that we have to pay for, they reimburse us for those, which are generally one, maybe two a day.
Okay.
Depending on what's.
Good deal. Yes, sir.
So, since I've served on the TCA for the last couple of years,
Yeah.
you've been amazed at what the hotels are charging for, especially a hot meal.
It's bad.
It's gone from, since COVID ended, it's gone from in the neighborhood of $40 a plate to upwards of $100.
Mhm. Yeah.
I mean, coffee service is
Oh, insane.
$5,000.
That's just for the rubber chicken, green beans and almonds plate. So I think that I lean towards going with the $72 a day rate, understanding that the majority of us are never going to really use that. And also further understanding that we're going to change our policy where it's not just a hey per day, it's going to be per meal. So that would mean if we went with that $72, forget $72 or $74, too many pieces of paper. Focus, Justin. That means if you're provided breakfast or you're provided lunch or you're provided dinner, it would break down $18 for breakfast, $20 for lunch, and $36 for dinner. And again, I know a lot of people go, well, Justin, we can eat a heck of a lot cheaper than $36 for dinner. Yeah, at the house for sure. And at the fast food restaurant. But when you're taking dinners at some of these hotels and these conferences, it's stupid what they're charging for it. But overall, I think there's money savings for the county, like the treasurer points out, because if you've already got two of those meals provided, we're not giving you that whole amount we're giving you now. And it puts some more administrative work on your office, and you're okay with
In the
that?
auditor's office as well,
And the-
so it's fine.
Okay.
It's no big deal. I mean, we have the agendas already, so it's just an extra little box for us to check.
And this affects every office. So guys, speak up. If you think this is the right move or the wrong move, you got a duty to say something. I got nothing, so, okay. Your thoughts, commissioners? It's tough to make a decision sometimes. All right, my diuretics are to kick in a minute, so if we can get this vote over with so I can take a break, I'd really appreciate it.
So you want to go with 72?
Yeah, well, 74, I took the highest one, but I'll go 72 if that's where you want to start. $2.
No, you said 72. All right, I heard 72.
I did. I misspoke a minute ago. Yeah, I got to shuffle my paperwork a little better than I have. I don't have a court reporter, so I'm get the luxury of saying what I want to sometimes.
Got to start something, so I'd make a motion.
Okay, we have a motion.
74.
Yes, sir. So we have a motion and a second to approve per diem breakdown for Hill County employees and officials. The first day of travel at $55.50, which is 75% of the daily rate. The full day of travel at $74, and the last day of travel at a maximum of $55.50. In the event, if the event applies a meal, it will be deducted from the daily rates accordingly. That would be deducting $18 for breakfast, $20 for lunch, or $36 for dinner. And that is the motion. That is the second. And I wrote all over mine. If somebody's got a clean copy, I'd appreciate it. No, I'm being honest.
Receipts.
I've got to make notes. Yeah, and you've got to have receipts, folks. All right. Is there any further discussion on this topic?
No movies.
No movies. That's right. No in-room movies. All right. Before this gets out of hand, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, any abstention, motion carries. And I'm not kidding. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would indulge me, I need about a 5-minute break to stand up. My lower back is getting the best of me, and I need to stretch it out for just a second. Yes, sir. Top sheet.
That's $72.
Oh, hold on.
You can sign it.
I got other things in my mind. It's obvious. So y'all bear with us, and we will be back from recess in about 7 minutes. So we'll continue the rest of this meeting because there's quite a bit to continue about too. So at this time, we'll find ourselves in recess.
Yes.
They made a mistake.
Excuse me for aggravating.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Yeah. It is. Oh, we keep going. Let me see a peek at
Is in need of donuts. Somebody gave us donuts, and I mean, there's some pretty donuts in there. I'm not just talking slave. I mean, there's. Well, yeah, they're gonna take that. But by the way. And I'm telling you to go get donuts because I don't need to be eating donuts. How have you been, man? How have you been? How have you been? I think I'm getting older. I get the slower I get.
Me too. You're younger than me.
You don't have any white in your beard.
I don't have it here.
But there's a problem.
nearly all the conferences I go to in Bryan, Tuesday night.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
They do the prime rib, then
Oh.
Wednesday night.
Oh, yeah, somebody's always paying for that stuff up there. That's the deal is I didn't realize how bad it got because, I get mine paid for by the state, by the. And I didn't understand that. I heard about reimbursement, so sneaking along. And I started looking at some of the reimbursement forms. Yeah, those hotels are insane. And then the food service, like at the Overton, we go there 2 times a year roughly. Sometimes 3, but usually twice. And we do judicial conference because the county judges education is associated with Texas Tech School of Law. So they bring in some more professors and things like that. Oh my gosh, that is insanely expensive at that hotel. And
When we went to Amarillo weekend for last, my grandson's at vet school visiting. My son said, I'll take care of the bed breakfast. And I said, okay, you take care of the meals. We went to the Red River Steakhouse.
now what is it?
$255.
How many people?
Cheapest steak was like $28.
Should have gone to the Big Texan. It's got the old 72.
Yeah. People, families.
Exactly. I mean, they give you all that food and I think you feed 5 or 6 people with it. I think it's only $120 or something.
It was a fun trip.
All right. I said we had 7 minutes. You need Okay.
My granddaughter.
Oh, yeah. I was like trying to figure out what she's doing for tonight. And I on them.
Pretty amazing.
I think the problem is Mike. You've been circulating that way, it's right, and he's got a number in the back.
We can't just buy that with our company to start.
Well, if we were to go to them into their name. That's what we would do is we would probably just put it in the registry for them, but that come.
If we have to do that. Yeah.
Hopefully he's close enough to getting.
I think so. I mean, at this point, we let that go, spend the money. Let's just, until he tells me we pay.
Yeah.
And I trust Mike. Mike's not gonna oppose us.
Right.
So, yeah, I know it takes, I know it takes time. Yeah, believe me, I know it takes time. Just trying to track people down.
You said there were 74, is that what you said?
70 some odd errors, wasn't it? In total? Man, that's what I thought I heard. I could be wrong. It was a lot, but yeah, I thought I heard 70 something. It was a lot.
It just, yeah.
Yeah, you trace out, well, here's this guy. Well, he's dead and he's got X number of kids, and these kids all had kids. They're Catholic, I think. I mean,
Yeah, like several of them have been married several times, had different kids.
it's a telenovela.
A classic case of taking charge of your life.
Yeah, branched out probably.
If I could say one thing to everybody as a free piece of advice, write a will. Love the show. Write a will. Whether you probate or not, don't worry about it. Somebody might need it down the road. All right, we ready to go? All right, this time we're going to reconvene this meeting from recess. It's still 13th day of February 2024. Let the record reflect it's 9:45 a.m. And I'll say it again, we are back from recess. So we bring up item number 12, which is discussion approval of setting a public hearing on the closure of Wharf Street between Pinto Ridge and Palomino Loop. I want to push this off because he's not here and I've had an outside request from an attorney if this is to come up on the agenda, that we need to have a conversation about this. That particular street. Yeah, road, whatever. Yeah. So I'm going to ask that we push this off, not in the main delay, but just to make sure we got all our ducks in a row before we do something. 2-week delay is not going to hurt anything here. Anyway, because if we're actually going to close that street, it's in a subdivision and I believe it's platted. So it's going to require surveys and things like that. So
Okay.
if we just push that off and no action on 12, I'd appreciate it. Number 13, discussion approval of setting a public hearing on the closure of CR 1131 in its entirety from 1136 to FM 2488. I don't know anything about this road. It's
With
just-
me, I think it's two property owners involved that both want it done.
Okay, so if we're gonna set a public hearing on this, I'm gonna pull up my handy dandy calendar real quick, guys. And let's look in the calendar.
Or Tuesday or March, maybe.
Yeah, I'm thinking you're gonna be about dead on there, which would be the 26th of March. Is everybody cool? I'm not here. I'm in Washington DC that week. If I set this public hearing, and if everybody's in favor of it, I did this to you last time without asking you, so sorry.
What
Set it.
about June?
All right, so I am here on April the 9th. How does April the 9th sound? Does everybody do April the 9th? Okay, so what we're gonna do, Paula, for public hearing is April the 9th. What that'll allow us to do too, if at the next commissioners court meeting brings back up and there's more free business, we'll still have time to put it on that same calendar. So if you'd make us a note in the calendar though, because yes, sir.
That's the day after the eclipse.
The day after the eclipse.
We work, it's a work day, boys.
I understand that, but you're still gonna be dealing with all, I mean, finding a place to park.
I'm not emergency management, you are.
I'm fine.
We're gonna be somewhere, I mean, might as well have a party here.
Being opposed.
Man, from what they sound like they got planned, and I am not dogging the city of Hillsborough, I love them, the city manager's great, but it might look like a frat house on the day after the big party around here, I don't know. But we're gonna be here in Commissioners Court on the 9th.
We can discuss all the problems the day before.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have time for next time we have an eclipse, sure. So, okay, let's do this tentatively, well, not tentatively right now. Let's go ahead and set it for April the 9th. During a regular meeting, our Commissioners Court meeting, we'll have a public hearing on the proposed closing of County Road 1131 in its entirety from 1136 to FM 2488. That'll be at 8:30 a.m. Next is number 14, discuss. Yes, sir. Yeah, please.
Number 12 was to deal with me. I would just like to recommend or just say a quick note that
Yes, sir.
Hill County Commissioner 1, Jim.
Yeah.
It's been wonderful. He's really been excellent. Answers the phone every time you call him. So I really appreciate it. He came right out the next day after I called him. Looked at some road issues out there. So.
Well, is this on number 12 in Warren Street?
Yeah.
I'm not going to change mine about setting the hearing at this point, but you're here and you've come to see us and thank you.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on it?
The road has never been open since the subdivision was built.
Okay.
And so that's one of the major reasons that Jim was okay with it. And
Yeah.
And there's a major ledge there.
Okay.
So he said it would be very difficult to actually open the road through there.
I think you're right from what I've seen. I did get contacted by an attorney for another party. I don't know the full details of it, that they had some concerns about it. So might want to talk with those folks and we'll figure out what we need to do, what the next step, why they're opposed to it. If the road's never been opened in the first place, you know, it's better to work out things up front than to find out and fight about it at a later date.
Is there a way to find out who that is?
I'm going to contact that attorney again today and let him know. I should have caught this was on the agenda last week and I didn't. And I promised him I would call it when we came from the agenda and I did not keep my promise. So I've got to fix that. But I will make sure that all parties know. I'll get it with Jim and Jim touched. I don't understand what the opposition to it is, just there was some opposition, but understanding what you're telling me that this road was never opened.
Yeah.
And what I can see on our roadmap, it's a road we have a duty to maintain through the 2008 process. But again, Jim said it's never been opened. And so I'm not understanding if it's another property owner that abuts it, that would be an issue. If they don't abut the road, that's usually not too big of a deal. But I'd like to know what the full story is and give everybody a chance to have their say before we move forward without doing anything.
Make a mistake and run it through and then have to come back and
We've never done that before, have we?
Understood.
Yeah. Well, yeah, blame Jim, that's right.
The previous.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's not here. We can throw him on the bus. I'm not talking about Jim.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, thank you very much. I'm sorry. I'm glad you spoke up. I'm glad you said something. Thank you. We'll get to the bottom of what's going on. Our policy normally has been, if possible, if there's a road in our road system that we've not maintained or we've never used, we want to take that off the road system. We're not using that piece of property to its fullest effect. Might as well put it back out in the general public and let somebody else come up with a better use of it. When it comes to most of our roads, about 96% or so of our roads, we maintain them through an old legal doctrine of prescriptive easement. You own half the road, I own half the road, and the county gets to maintain, on the middle of it, technically. There are 3 to 4% of our roads we own in fee simple. That is just as you own your house, I own my house. I don't know the nature of this road, but being that it's platted in the subdivision, it may have been dedicated to us. I need to do some research on that and look at it. Again, it doesn't change our policy in the long run. If we're not using it, let's put it off our books and let somebody else deal with it. But I just need to find out more about it. All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. All right. So discussion action on setting a public hearing for the closure of Tidwell. I don't know anything about Tidwell.
Again, it's a road that has never been established, and Commissioner Whitman said that when it rains, people take their ATVs and stuff and do mud in.
Okay, so
Where this road is supposed to be. So those neighbors that live in that area.
okay. I've heard no opposition to this, so I propose we set it for a public hearing on April 9th as well. I'm not saying the opposition couldn't show up, but that's the case. So let's set it for April 9th. And just to your point, oh, no, sorry. No. I interrupted you. Just to let you know, if we get this resolved, this could still possibly be on the April 9th hearing as well for public hearings for Wharf Street. We just got to figure it out for next Commissioner's Court, which is the 4th Tuesday of this month. All right. So we've got a motion. Was there a motion? Motion and a second to set a public hearing for the closure of Tidwell Road in Precinct 1 on the 9th day of April 2024 during a regular session of the Commissioners Court. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed. Any abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Number 15, discuss to improve the current road-based quality situation and the potential solution. This is Jim, and I feel his frustration. We are having a very, very difficult time getting base simply because there's about 3 pits that we can use, and not knocking anybody, but rock grinders apparently are down often. They're it's a hard business in those things. So A, finding a pit open can be difficult, but B, the bigger problem is this. These solar farms are coming in here. The wind farms are coming here. There's nothing to do the county can do to stop it. We have no legal authority to do it. We work with them, guys. But it's not just the roads they affect. They also affect our ability to get materials. I mean, if I could tell this story, just a couple of weeks ago, you had to have outside people hauling base to you because it was taking so long sitting at the pit that they couldn't get anything accomplished in the precinct. So it was a better use of funds to have that material brought in while your guys did your job. If you're sitting in a truck for an hour and a half just waiting to get loaded, that's an unusual experience for us. That didn't used to be the norm. And, they used to have stockpiles of this stuff, get you loaded. And now it's running off the end of the conveyor line, out of the crusher, straight into the truck, it sounds like a lot of times. So when you've got all these trucks lined up trying to get road based, we're having a difficult time getting our hands on it. Is that an accurate statement?
Yes, and not to change the subject or anything, but we went through the same thing when Barnett Shell Road lives here.
That's right.
15, 20 years ago.
Yes, sir.
We go over there, sit in line 2 hours sometimes. Fill all the pads and things like that, locations and stuff. And it's just something you get to fight through.
I even called Jeff last week, the week before, about crushing up 8, 10,000, 20,000 yards of crushed stone for Precinct Hill County. And he said, well, really, one crusher's down with the solar systems running, and he can't ever catch up to get, he said, I can't see how I can, crush up just for Hill County.
Gotcha.
That one in my precinct that they're working on, they graveled 37.5 miles inside the solar.
37.
Another system.
I've heard suggestions from citizens, and I want to go a couple of these just since we're having this conversation. I've heard people, well, there's a rock vein over at Abbott. Why don't you guys go put a crusher on it? that vein of rock to start with is very soft. It was tried. It turns into talcum powder in about 2 days. And then it becomes a real problem for us. You think the roads are bad now, wait till it gets wet after you put that stuff on it. So that vein of rock that runs up the east side of 35 is not suitable for road construction at all. I mean, I guess you could put it oversized underneath and then cap it,
It
but
works pretty well that way.
yeah,
If you put out chunks
yeah.
and roll it into the roadbed itself and then cap it with a good road base material. That's okay, but as far as crushing.
Doesn't work.
No.
So that's not an operation. Number two, the county operating a crusher is not a financially viable thing. We use a lot of rock, but we don't use near the amount of rock it would take to make it financially viable for us to buy, maintain, employ people to run our own crusher and run a piece of property. I mean, that's how far we've gone looking at this stuff, is trying to figure out what do the numbers look like. We don't buy that much gravel. There's no way we could justify that
You know,
expenditure.
when the solar systems are gone and finished, which it'll be a while, that, you know, Hill County, McLennan County, that's what keeps the rock pit going.
Yeah. And I remember when you're talking about the shell, that was when I got back in 07, first year, we were still in some of that play. And I fully expect that we're going to see some price increases from the rock pit guys because they're selling as much as they can. And we had to go back and talk to them last time about, hey, I understand you're getting this from everybody else, but remember who your bread and butter is when everything's slow. Just conversations we need to have with our suppliers coming up as we go out for bid. We like to do business locally and we will as much as we can. But if you're breaking us over the coals, we got to find the best value for the taxpayer.
If you had never been to Connors, it's pretty amazing how deep they have gone. I just wonder how much deeper they can go.
Oh,
It's
They're gonna be.
probably 500-600 foot deep. It's a pretty good trip down into the bottom.
so we used to have a pit at Tawakoni years ago, but I think it's been, Rife River closed it down.
Closed.
There was, somebody's reopened that pit up on 1104 loop, but I don't know how they're even getting to that pit at the moment. No offense to Jim, that road's the first thing to go underwater around here. I haven't heard if anybody's getting rock out of it.
The amount.
Yes, sir. It's got a different name now.
I remember Glenn saying when Aquila pit was open that they got into some blue rock. That was really good rock, but
Where was that pit at?
at Monarch, went on River,
Oh,
2200.
did they close that pit down?
Yeah,
Okay.
Aquila's been closed for a long time.
I knew they were pulling pieces there. I didn't know they ever had in limestone.
But back when Aquila had, they went deep enough, they got into that blue rock. And he said it was some good rock. But Monarch, I've been intending to talk to Mr. Clark, see if they ever gotten that deep, if they'd be interested in the questions.
Yeah. I mean, right now they could justify the expense.
Yeah, I know he emailed me the other day that he wanted to be sure to get on the bidders list for the peak roads.
Okay, well, guys, hey, we got a new auditor. He's a great guy. It's his first year doing this, or second year doing this. He needs all the assistance he can get. So I know in the past, we kind of relied on our auditor to help us muster up our suppliers. But after next commissioners, when we go officially out for bid, I'm gonna try to have all those bid sheets ready. I'm gonna ask you start contacting everybody you do business with, or you plan on doing business with. Because as you know, under our procurement rules, we can do it one time a year and that's it, and we're stuck with that. So, but anyway, that being said, having this conversation was important to kind of go through. I don't think there's any action for us to take at this time. I do believe that our action will be our next commissioners meeting, going out for bids, soliciting bids from different pits, different suppliers, if they exist. But that's one of those things that rapidly becomes uneconomical to haul rock beyond a certain distance. So. All right, well, there being no action on 15, we'll move to 16, and that is discussion approval of full-time non-exempt road and bridge operator 3 for Precinct 1, Precinct 1. I don't know, is this an additional position over and above what he has already, or is he backfilling somebody?
Well, yeah,
Question, because, he just had someone retire, but they're not an operator 3, they were originally for 2. The price difference between the two for the McAfee was only 56 cents an hour. So I didn't know if he's asking for $700-800 for the rest of the year, or if he's asking for only position of $30,000 for the rest of the year.
Yeah, Jim's really usually good about communicating this stuff. I'll tell you the first sign that I knew something was wrong. Talked to him last Wednesday, and he said he was on the rebound. And then we start sending stuff off Commissioner's Court by email, right? And he usually is Johnny on the spot about getting back with you. I didn't hear from that guy all weekend, and so I got concerned. Talked to him yesterday. He sounds terrible. I encouraged him, he's under doctor's care, him and his wife both. But whatever they got's not treating him well. So I don't have enough information on this. I don't want to just keep passing his agenda items because he's not here, but I'm hesitant to take any action without knowing more about this.
Well, it's different. I mean, you're looking at $30,000 plus benefits that need to be looked at. Or is it just that $800 for the difference in the positions?
Yeah, and that's what I'm unclear. If it was just creating a operator 2 position, an operator 3 position, or vice versa, but I don't know if this is a whole new position we're creating. So I'm hesitant to act, and I hate to do this, but I'm gonna ask that we push this off to our next commissioners board meeting to get more information about this, so we're not voting blind on something, if that's all right with everybody. So it's my intention to take no action at this time, but to bring this back up on the commissioners meeting. Number 17, discuss and approve medical invoice for inmate at Hill County Jail previously billed to former inmate medical care company. Miss April, go ahead. Sir, did we get your name? So, oh, good deal. Thank you very much. We'll give you a holler and confirm that we're going to get this back, that Wharf Street on the next agenda. I don't want to waste your time. I'm sorry. And again, I apologize if we had more information, we can get it to you, but we'll keep in touch with you on it. Yes, sir. Y'all have a great day. Miss Debbie, good to see you.
Rick Lamore.
Rick, thanks a lot for being with us. All right, so on this invoice, you guys know that Southern Health Partners didn't do what they advertised they were doing for us. Contractually, they've left some people high and dry. We made a decision to take care of our local hospital because we felt that was a duty we had to the community to do so. We continue, however, to get some bills occasionally. And the only reason I'm bringing this to you, I'm not trying to pass the buck. I'm just letting you know, I've said no to some small stuff, but some of these bills are starting to get big enough. We might see litigation over it. So my saying no may bring a lawsuit. And that's just something I think that everybody needs to be on board with, saying yes or no. Ms. Cook, if you would, tell us the story.
Okay, so this is an inmate from the jail. He originally went to the ER out here on October 3rd of 22, while the former inmate medical care company was still in charge of everything. We actually stopped them March of 23 is when we changed companies. So they were billed this by the hospital on October 17th, well within the 95-day billing timeframe that's set forth. They just never did anything at all. They've sent me the documentation that basically the company just ignored it straight out. So when they finally sent it to me on January 18th, I told them at that time, because this is a $26,858 bill. So knocking it down to Medicaid rates, which is what we always pay, that makes it $8,863.39. So it does drop it significantly, but I told them because of the time frame that this was out of my authority to actually process. I needed to go before Commissioner's Court and speak with all of you gentlemen and get y'all's authority and approval to actually pay this.
And the actual pay, the party asking request is Ascension, or is it?
This is Providence Health Center, so.
Yeah, Ascension.
But it's actually the one in Waco, I believe. I don't think it's the one here.
Yeah, I don't either. So it's not the hospital. So I'm trying to point out to you.
No,
it's not our local hospital. Matter of fact, Ascension doesn't even operate a clinic out there anymore. I believe it's outside the time frame for us to pay it personally. But that's my personal decision. And again, because the amount is so great, I know we'd only pay $8,000 on Medicaid. It's a question of, do we just pay the $8,000 and bite the bullet, even though contractually it's really, I believe, the duty of the former company. And if you ask, are we going to sue them for this? I'll spend more than $8,000 on the attorneys. So I've got to make a business decision here on what to do. I'm just saying that this thing is outside our normal authority to pay. And I'm afraid if we open this box at this point, what else comes in, how much more is out there? But again, knowing that taking that measure, that could cause us to start getting people suing us because they well, rightfully, they probably owed some money. The real part they need to sue is a former healthcare company that was in the jail, but they're obviously no longer around.
If they have invoices by now.
I didn't get it until January 18th of this year.
Whole year.
Yeah, well over a year later.
That's what I'm saying.
22.
Yeah, and they invoiced Southern Health Partners
Yes.
inside the 95-day time limit.
Yes.
But that Southern Health Partners is doing things, so they just turned around and invoiced us.
Right.
But it's over a year and a half. What was the date on October?
October of 22.
Yes, a year and 3 months. 3 months. looking for direction, fellas. It ain't an easy choice. It's the reason I brought up the brain trust here.
I am with the judge, though. I do believe that we're gonna continue to see these for a while, and I hate to set precedent on one, because there's probably more coming from Providence themselves. Anytime that our people go over here to the ER, if it's something that we can't handle here at this one, they're gonna transfer them, and that's gonna be the first place they go to. So I don't know how many are out there floating around. I have no idea.
And again, we're not talking about under our current healthcare provider for the jail. We're talking about the previous one under previous contract. We've not had any problems to date that I understand on billing with them. They've been much more open. This is just a bunch of leftover stuff that the other company was supposed to handle, and they did not. And that's the reason we removed them as their failure to take care of business. I mean, our exposure here as a council put you in a tight spot, but I mean, we start denying these, which I think we should. How much liability do we have? They can turn around and sue you, but they're going to have to rope in Southern Partners to do so. And if their overall take is only $8 grand, are they that interested in doing it?
Oh, we're gonna get into the parties, because that inmate was our
Inmate, you know.
person, so. They're not gonna worry about what our contract with another company. Was.
Yeah.
So. I have no doubt that we made it a party, and then just about a cross claim against Southern Health Partners. I don't know. Are they still operating in Texas?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
They're all over the place. They were at my conference. He was the keynote speaker.
They haven't sent any references to my office lately.
Kind of explain how that contract worked to the commissioners, because we set aside X number of dollars for the footprint, correct?
50,000, yes, sir.
Right. And it was always exceeded. They were constantly sending me invoices for going over that $50,000. But they never really gave me a lot of detail. They would send me a list of like, this was the inmate's name, this is the amount spent out, but no actual invoices or detail on anything. So once I started getting the invoices continuously for the overage, I was like, why is it this way? We've already paid you this much and everything. So that's when I actually started getting involved in it and seeing that there was things not being paid, and started investigating a little more and moving in another direction. But now that we actually did completely cut them loose, they're coming out of the woodwork constantly saying that they never got paid. I mean, there's the one that we've got that's been emailing us. I'm pretty sure it's the same company. So like I said, most of them get sent to Providence if they can't do it here. So.
And what's the feedback that you got from Southern Health about that particular invoice?
It's always the same spiel, was that, oh, well, there was the $50,000 cost thing. And if we exceeded that, it was out of our own pocket. And I'm like, okay, I understand that, but if you never bill us in the first place for it, how can we pay you back for something that's, year and a half old? So, and then I'm always told, oh, well, it's up to the nurses over at the jail to get us the paperwork in the proper time frame so that we can actually approve the bill being paid. And it's just this big circle going round and round that I never really get into the truth. Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it falls back squarely on them.
Yeah.
I just, again, we have been denying. Most of them have been smaller than this. No one's gonna risk litigation over a couple of bucks here and there. We start getting into bigger bills like this, and the biggest deal is I don't know what's out there. I don't know what I don't know, because this company wholly abandoned their duty to us to inform us. They never set up what they said they're going to set up. 13 years of doing it. They didn't provide the necessary information. So we just don't know what's out there.
I mean, the other part of it is when they start refusing service to our.
I'm curious about that too.
They're not paying.
Yeah, and that's a possibility too. They can bring it up.
There is the possibility, because I do believe that the majority of what is left out there that is big ticket is going to probably be Providence and Waco. I can contact their billing department and find out if there is any other outstanding things, and basically get what we did with the one here in Hillsborough.
Yeah.
Go ahead and do it that way. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a big chunk of change, but I mean, that way at least it would be completely cleared up, and we know that our hospital is good, The one that we usually transfer out to is the,
Did Waco Medical take over that, or they just take over the?
Just a clinic.
Just the
just the
clinic.
clinic.
Yeah, we took care of the hospital out here because we felt we had a duty to the community to do so. I mean, I'm not opposed to taking a bit and stopping and asking them, provide everything. The only downside to that is we open ourselves up to, okay, we're willing to negotiate for whatever you can come up with. Doesn't mean I'm willing to pay for whatever they can come up with.
Well, I think we could ask. In writing. Are there any other outstanding invoices?
From this time period to this time period.
Okay.
All right. Well,
That we're not totally avoiding them, but see if there's other options that they come up with, a Southwestern, whatever.
agreed. Okay, so I think that's, yes, no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
The option to refuse to treat based on the payment status.
I don't know the answer to that.
It depends on if it's a private one. I know Hillcrest and Providence is a county hospital, though I don't think they can.
Even though they were for a trauma center.
Okay, well,
I don't know the, but.
let's do this. Now, I'll recommend this. I'll change my position. Let's go ahead and reach out to Providence Ascension and ask for a full accounting until the last day that those people were with us, whatever date it was. And say, you've got to send us all of your bills, get it all together. And then we'll see what that looks like and come back and have a conversation about it.
Okay.
Once we get a tally on this number, once we get this number brought in, is there any litigation that will take for Southern Health Partners?
I mean, it's a possibility, yes, sir. Everything's open. Everything's on the table. Because, you know, if it's a couple thousand here and there, it's difficult to justify the cost of litigation. It's a business decision. It stinks, but that's what it is. When you start talking a sizable sum of money, then suddenly you can.
I think we need to get a total amount.
Okay. See where we're at.
See where we're at.
Okay.
Moving forward.
All right. So, well, then I'll make a motion that we have our indigent healthcare coordinator contact Ascension Providence to seek all outstanding invoices under the former jail health provider, Southern Health Partners, that may be out there, and then report back to the court whatever she finds.
Yes, sir.
All right, motion to second. Anything further? All in favor, say aye.
Yeah.
Aye. All opposed, motion carries. Number 18, discuss and approve Skyline East preliminary plat. We have a preliminary plat that went through the review committee. It is recommended for your approval. This is off of 4307 in Itasca, up in your neck of the woods. It is a it's a total of 5 lots. It's there in the corner of that particular road, 4307. It meets all the requirements of our subdivision rules and regulations. It's been recommended to the court for its approval as a preliminary plat.
That's the motion approved.
Second. Motion is second. Is any further discussion? Thank goodness the subdivision business has slowed down. We don't sign these because they're preliminary. So I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed. Any abstentions? Motion carries. All right, thank you. So number 19, discussion or approve special court date meeting for job descriptions. Guys, we got to have a workshop amongst us. We got to come up with a common job description for county employees, for yard employees, road and bridge employees. We got some things, we won't waste your day. We've got some things we'll put in front of you, but we need to have a common description because we have these common titles of operator 1, 2, and 3. I appreciate that everybody's put something in, but what we've got varies a little bit and we need to have that more uniform. So it shouldn't be difficult, but we need to figure out a day quickly when we can sit down and hold that workshop. If you want to, we can hold the workshop before or after the next regular commissioners court meeting, or we can have a special meeting to do it. I don't know yet. And every time I say it's going to be short, I turn out to be a liar. I think this would take us about 30 minutes to do. And so we can put it at the end of the next regular commissioners court if you guys are up to it. All right. So I'll make a motion that we put a workshop on the end of the next regular commissioners court meeting. Oh, no, whoa, that wasn't my motion. Hope we can get some donuts or something.
27th.
That sounds familiar. Is that the date, time? Okay, 27th.
Second regular.
Yeah, 27th. So we'll put it on the 27th. That's my motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, motion is second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. Discussion action, interlocal agreement between Hill County and the city of Bynum.
I have not seen.
Okay, they sent it to me and I thought they sent it to you. Forgive me. It's a re-up of the interlocal agreement itself. I don't remember a project work order there, but
We had talked about, yes. Take care of the roads, so we swap out cold water and wastewater.
it's on the corner of my desk on the right-hand corner.
We've been discussing this for about a year now, and
We need to do it.
yeah.
Yeah. So hang on just a second. It's on the corner of the desk.
Said something about waiving the sewer and water.
Yes, that's part of the.
Well, it may actually, sorry, apologize. I put it back in here after I took it out. Hey, Matt, I got it. I'm sorry. I took it out yesterday and you gave it to me. It's my fault. I had taken it out and review it. Yeah, everybody should have a copy there. You don't have a copy?
I must have.
All right. You do have a copy. So basically, here's what you got. It's the same purpose and terms, responsibilities. Hill County the city shall pay Hill County reasonable labor and material expenses associated with this work. The purpose, it's county specifically finds that all street maintenance set forth below serves the county purpose because such streets in the part of or connecting link with Hill County Road. Such streets are major thoroughfares necessary for travel from one part, not one art, there's a P that's missing there, of the county to another or used by a significant number of county residents. Therefore, county specifically finds the expenditure of public funds for such county purpose constitutes county business. City finds that it will benefit by receiving this service and will pay the county's reasonable labor and material expense associated with the work. The parties in this agreement agree. There's an H missing, that at some time as are convenient and practical for the county and discretion of the county commissioner. That's the purpose, right? So it gets the responsibility. Cities have already said that city shall pay the county for reasonable material and labor. No waiver of immunity or defenses. Applicable law and venue is Texas law, Hill County venue. Complete understanding. That means there's no agreements outside of this agreement. Everything's contained within the four corners of the document. The duplicate originals, that way if they sign it, then we sign it. And by the way, they signed it back January 10th. And then their authorized signature. And there is a project approval, forgive me, I misspoke. And that is attached to the back of that. It's actually three of them. The first is description to be undertaken. The city of Bynum is willing to pay the county labor, expense, material associated with performed under this agreement. At least 2 times a year, fill depressions in all roads to the city of Bynum. We'd like to have the roads surrounding the school completed by July or August before the start of school. Replace or repair culverts in the roadways as needed, grade certain roads within city limits as specified with. We currently have some properties that have grown into the road, grading and smoothing the roads, prevent washport effect, I'm sorry. All jobs need an estimate to give the city plan prior approval beginning work. The city will pay for the material and labor associated with the work. As a portion of payment, the city will waive the water and sewer bill for precinct 3 county barn for the duration of this agreement. So it sounds like you're dragging a moat grader down the roads right next to your barn or one of your barns so that we don't pay for sewer or water. Not the worst deal I've ever heard. Any objections? Nope. Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Well,
You think it's fair market value each way?
You use Cartograph as your materials and your labor.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Really, what we've done in the past. It doesn't cost county a whole lot. I mean, we can usually do it in a day, one man in a day, so.
okay, so you're doing that once a year?
Yeah, maybe twice.
Okay, but you're getting a full year full of free sewer and a full year of free water. Does that include trash or just sewer and water?
No, I don't have a dumpster there anymore. Used to,
Okay,
include trash, but since we moved from Healthy, it's good.
okay. I don't think that's a bad quid pro quo. Everybody's happy with it. I'm happy with it. So, motion in a second. Is there any further discussion? I mean, again, we're just making sure there's a quid pro quo, something for what we're doing. So, yeah, I got no issue with that. There's a motion in a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any abstentions, any opposition? Hearing none, the question will pass unanimously. I'm going to sign this in a couple of places here and send it around for you guys' signature as well. That way it'll be on file. Mine blank.
It's Judge Lewis.
I can't remember my first name now. That's a problem. I'm gonna tell you what, back pain will take you out of it. That's a blank that doesn't need to be signed, and that's just a secondary, same thing. Nah, I've always need one guy to be ugly so I can take away from his budget to make everybody else happy. Oh, my goodness. Discuss and ratify a contract with AT&T. Gentlemen, originally I was going to ask you guys to ratify. I'm asking you to approve it now, or you can ratify my approval. This is something we talked about earlier. We have a fiber line that comes in the courthouse. Actually, there's intranet and internet. That fiber line is 50 MB. It's sizable, but we're paying X amount of dollars for it. We can go up to 100 MB lines and pay about $300 less a month.
This is actually for
Oh,
the
for-
courthouse and the sheriff's.
Courthouse and sheriff's office. So we can increase our bandwidth and it will cost us less money each month. I thought you'd want to hear about that, and I almost signed it without you guys, but I thought not better do it the right way. So I would make a move that we approve the contract with AT&T to increase our bandwidth and lower our monthly payment. I think it took a while for that one. All right.
Sorry.
I got you. All right. So motion and a second. Anything further? If not, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed. It carries. Number 22, we have discussed and approved election judges and alternate judges for the March 5th primary date. As you guys know that finding judges can often be a chore. So we have. Is that what he sent me a minute ago? He slid something in here and I think this is it. I want to yeah.
She brought it in right when you.
Well, is that it? Okay, so this is only the Democrat side of the house. We don't remember what. We have an order of appointment, but we don't actually go out and find these people. The Democratic Party chair and the Republican Party chair do. I'm needing to find out, make sure I'm right here, but we've only got the Democratic Party chairs people, which are the co-judge, because whoever has the governor, it has the judge. And I know that I was assisting the Republican Party chairman. I'm trying to find somebody around the Quill area, but I think he's got that under control from the email. So what we've got is an appointment right now of the co-judge for each of these precincts. Let's call Aaron real quick. I want to make sure this is right. That this doesn't.
Do you know anything about the judges? What was the question? I'm sorry.
Aaron, the appointment of election judges and alternates. The sheet I got only has the co-judge, doesn't have the judge itself on it. So I'm thinking I have either the wrong paperwork or yeah, I figured that'd be the case. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do our job because this is the stuff we've got. And so the Democratic Party chairman has already sent in his stuff in compliance, and I'm going to say we go ahead and approve those. We'll have to appoint the judges later. Paul, are you an election judge or clerk? Not anymore, not anymore. So I don't have a list of who the judges are because we've not been provided it to elections yet. As soon as we get it, we'll update you guys. But so I guess I'm going to ask you to at least do our part where we can, which is appoint the alternate election judges that we have notice of at this time.
Okay.
I'll make that motion. Yeah. Motion is
Early voting starts next Tuesday.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's correct. And we should already have those judges. And that's why we're kind of curious why we don't have. Hold on. I'm going to call Aaron real quick because I don't understand why we don't have the early voting stuff. I know we have to have those people already. I would think we have to have those people. Because of the conversation we had last week. Bear with me just 1 second. Hey, it's Judge Lewis. I know you can only do within the realm of the information you've been provided, but have you been given any of the election judges from the Republican Party chairman? Okay, I knew I had the wrong piece of paper. I knew it. So that's the one I got this morning. I've shuffled the deck here. So the only one we're missing is precinct 9. Okay. Yeah, what I've got is the other one that's just got the co-judge and not the judge on the original one we had. Yeah, no, okay, I got it right here in front of me. I thought we had that, so good deal. Thanks, man, appreciate it. And we've got the early vote judges on here, or is that something different? Okay, good. All right, thank you very much. Let me know. Appreciate it. Okay. Okay, forgive me. He said he got updated like last night so that he's got it now this morning. So we do have a precinct judge. Forgive me for misunderstanding what we had there. And this is the list of judges with all except for the judge for precinct 9, which they are working at this point and will be determined. So my motion stands. Okay, and then I call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. We'll pass those around. Number 23, discuss and approve joint resolution of statistical information for joint primary. So what we have is from our elections administrator who's working at the moment. And he couldn't be with us here at the moment. So the background, this request is being submitted in order to comply with Texas Election Code, section 32.001. That's the presiding judge and alternate for each county. So we've got that. I don't have what I'm looking for, the joint resolution statistical information for joint primary. On that sheet, I have it on this sheet. So it says, whereas the Democratic Party of Hill County, Texas and the Republican Party of Hill County, Texas desire to enter into a 2024 joint primary election services contract with the Hill County Election Administrator / County Clerk. It's election administrator. It's a form. As the election officer, whereas the Commissioners Court of Hill County desires to give the authorization for said contract, now therefore be it resolved by the Commissioners Court of Hill County that said commissioner authorizes a joint contract by and among Tom Hanson, Democratic Party Chair, and Will Orr, Republican County Party Chair, and Aaron Torres, County Election Officer for Hill County, and conduct the supervision of the Hill County Joint Primary Election March 5th, 2024, and the Hill County Joint Primary Runoff Election, if necessary, on the 28th day of May, 2024. I have no problem with this whatsoever. We basically run joint elections every November. This saves the money for the parties. They don't have to put as many people together, don't have to find separate locations. And basically it acts just about like it would act on a regular uniform election date in November, whereby you go in, you pick the party you're going to vote for, and you go from there. So you think about early vote, you go in, you got a Democratic side, Republican side. It seems like both parties agree to it. I don't think that's a bad thing for the taxpayer of Hill County. So I've got no issue with this. You have a motion and a second to approve a joint resolution regarding a joint primary for 2024 between the Hill County Republican Party, Hill County Democratic Party. Is there any further discussion? If not, I call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Commissioner?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second. Motion second to stand adjourned. Thank you for your attention to these matters. Oh,
The Norton.
what's that? Oh, Rick. Oh,
Having a
nice guy.
virtual meeting Thursday at 1:30 for TxDOT, for the bridge projects. Can you be here? On Thursday? In my office?
What time?
1:30.
1:30? Yeah, probably. It's supposed to have a meeting with Arlo and hopefully that's morning. Road to bridge guy. Here.
Up in my office.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. 1:30.
1:30 Thursday.
I remember that you may have paid for a service for a construction contract form